Good morning, everyone. It's Melissa. I am feeling refreshed. I got my sleep. Ran out of Pantene the last few days, so I'm like, I have to give my hair extra attention. So I'm feeling 100% better today. This is my only day off during the week. I have one business day off. So I just started my job Monday, Tuesday, and then Thursday and Friday. And even on my day off, like today, I'll be trying to DoorDash in between the stuff I have to do. I have to do laundry and I have other things that need to be done today. But I need a weekday off. So I want to talk about, I am with 200 people, 200 women online right now, private Facebook group, and we are talking about abortion and helping each other. And this is something that I wanted to do. I always felt like if I could help person, one person not having an abortion and not go through what I went through, I feel like, what I went through would have had some kind of benefit for somebody. So I'm on live action too, usually with just comments, and I said, imagine like seeing your adult child chopped up. Age doesn't matter, right? It doesn't. What if one of my boys got, totally chopped up and vacuumed up and killed in that manner? That is disgusting, right? And we would be furious. We are not furious about what's happening with abortion, and we should be. It's disgusting. No woman deserves it. That's what I was saying in my group last night. No woman deserves an abortion. It's a violence against women. It's an awful thing to go through. So last night we were challenged to just basically, think about how we felt. And I had talked last night on a video about the pain I felt, the fear I had. And so I went back to think some more about some of the details. And I'm going to share that. But just so you know, this group, somebody in the group is offering classes, and it's actually with a scholarship. So if you really want help with counseling or classes to continue to deal with this while you help other women, there are scholarships out there to help you. So that was just offered. I didn't even ask. I wasn't aware of the price, and they just said, yes, we have room for you, and it's a scholarship. So that was really kind. So I will be using my experience to benefit other women. So as I was thinking about this, I was like, okay, so when you went into the clinic, how were you feeling? What were your thoughts? And I had a memory come back I did not remember, which is great. And I think it's with the support of the other woman. And we were talking about how important it is to feel. As women, we are supposed to feel, right? We are supposed to feel certain ways. Not that our emotions run us, but a lot of our inner core as being feminine is to feel things. And a lot of times after we have an abortion, we're all wound up, right? We're cut off. That masculinity comes out in us, our masculine energy, because we are protecting ourselves, right? And so we're functioning in life in a way that's very, not only am I an introvert, but with the wound upness of the self-protective walls, I can cut other people off. I can just be like, I'm not emotionally involved with you, So I was remembering that day of walking in. And I do remember being shielded by my mother. I couldn't really hear what a couple people on the sidewalk were saying or whatever. Didn't really understand what was going on. But I remember walking in, and in my mind, I was not a mother. I was not even really pregnant. I was just in trouble. So I did not walk in as a pregnant woman. I've seen other women on the sidewalk walk in. It's obvious they're pregnant. I did not walk in as a pregnant woman. I walked in as a kid in trouble, and I was pretty confident. Just walking in, like, yeah, this needs to be done. I was, told that, you were in trouble and this has to be taken care of. And then I remember, like I said last night, the, the, I don't want to say, I guess I'll say the reality kicking in once something was put in me. Because now I was like, wait a minute, what is going on, right? What is happening here? So I guess that was a wake up call right there, and that's when fear kicked in. And I think I had so much fear thinking back about it too, and being on the table. And later on, after I was allowed to leave and be taken out for lunch, that was just pain. That was pain in the restaurant. It was laying down on the bench and doing nothing but trying to handle the pain with no medication. Who dilates a woman like that, right? I didn't have medication. I wasn't told how far along I was. My medical records later on said I was 3 months along. Imagine treating a pregnant lady at 3 months along and opening her up and having her lose her baby. I mean, we see mothers now who are like, oh, if I don't drink enough water, or if I don't, like for me, take my iron pills when I had a home birth, you're going to, you could deliver early, you're going to the hospital, you could have a premature baby. Imagine doing that to a pregnant woman. And that's exactly what I was. I was pregnant, 3 months along, and I'm being dilated to lose my baby. So, I was thinking about going in there, and then later on, I still cannot remember really how I went from the car. I cannot remember. I remember pulling out of Fort Eddy Road. My mother pulled out of there, but I don't remember. I don't remember getting there. I don't remember how I got on that table. Was it, there is still a fear of authority sometimes in my life, or police officers. Not that I've really ever gotten in trouble, but it's like, was there police involved? Was there an ambulance? I don't remember what happened. But I do remember being on that table upstairs, and I remember the nurse held my hand, and she just knew all throughout my body I was just trying to bear through the whole pain. So at 3 months, I'm having a baby pulled out of me. I'm having my baby without even the reality of knowing what's going on, really, pulled out of me and chopped up and vacuumed out, right? And all the nurse did was she held my hand, and I'm pretty sure it was one of the nurses from Epsom Central. The medical record said Sawyer was on the nurse's name, and I'm pretty sure she was the one who did the dental when I was in school. Anyways, she knew I was scared. I was like a board. I was scared stiff, and she said it's going to be okay, and she held my hand. Is it going to be okay? Is it? By God's grace, it has been okay for me. But for a lot of women, it's not okay. They die, right? I could have died. I could have died on that table, and a lot of women do. I could have ended up not having children. A lot of women cannot have children after. And, luckily for me, when my firstborn was born and the placenta was separating, my placenta, he survived. I still had him. And then I really didn't have any problems with my other ones. I mean, I had a healthy pregnancy with all of them. I had 3 home births. I had really no issues, except the firstborn, they put me on Pitocin, and he wasn't ready. So my placenta started to separate. So I am very lucky to be one of the fortunate women who were able to have children, because afterwards, you feel like God is punishing you. We had tried to have kids. It looked like I couldn't at first, so it was like, okay, why am I not getting pregnant? God is probably punishing me, right? I probably can't have kids. And that is heartbreaking when you want kids, you have matured and you understand more and you want kids, right? So when I was thinking about walking in, I walked in pretty confident, and then my whole bubble was burst, and reality set in, humble pie, whatever you want to call it, when the stuff to dilate me was being put in. So I mean, that was when it first hit me that this was not just like, oh, you're going to the doctors and they're just gonna somehow fix you. You're in trouble, you got pregnant, and it's going to disappear. I mean, I don't even know what I was thinking at 16. So my confidence just went right down, and I was in between a rock and a hard place. It's not like if I wanted to change my mind, if I even knew that I could change my mind. You don't even know you can change your mind, right? What would I have done? I mean, if I could have changed my mind, would I have been like, oh, okay, let's stop partway through? I mean, it would have been nice to be able to have had some kind of care where the baby would have been saved, right? So, after I realized, I was thinking about my feelings walking in, and I just felt like a weight off my shoulders just happened. Even this morning, I feel like I am not holding that anymore. I am not carrying that. I am not like, oh yeah, okay, that deception, the reality was there. I was able to process that and be like, you didn't even walk in like you were pregnant. So that is another piece of the puzzle that's just like, yeah, you can let go of that now. That's been processed. And this is kind of what we're talking about in the group, how trauma, the body holds on to it, and then even subconsciously the body's holding on to it. And then from there, once you have healed, in different aspects of the abortion experience, you can let go, and you can make better, you come from a different place, a different perspective after that, and you can heal in those areas so that now your response to different situations in life is not going to be the same response. Like the other day I was in the car with someone driving at work, and someone pulled in front of us, and because my mother, she just drove like crazy, right? She taught herself how to drive. She didn't have, back in the day, she didn't have a license. My dad was out hunting and fishing all the time, and she's like, I'm not staying home. I'm going to get in that truck and teach myself how to drive a standard. And she did an amazing job. But there were times I feared for my life riding with her. Like, there was once when I was little, we were in Manchester. Some lady, she ticked off with her driving. So we were at a stop sign. The lady was behind us. She came up to the window to tell my mother off, and my mother unrolled the window, slapped her across the face, rolled the window back up. And so my mother drove crazy, right? So I am still remembering some of the driving around the abortion. And so the other day, my response was, I just put out my hand when someone was driving because it made me nervous, thinking that, we could get hit. And, so your responses, with the panic attacks around abortion are there. And what we want to do is we want to heal so that the responses are different. And that's kind of, where we're at right now. We want to get in there deeper. We want to just not do a class, which is helpful. I mean, you can take some stuff and leave the other stuff, right? But we want to dig in deep. We want to get to the details of things and really get in there and let that trauma release from our body so we're not all wound up. And as women, we can feel safe, and we can just, be as we are made to be, soft, gentle, sweet, nurturing, right? We don't want to hold on to trauma and feel like we have to fight all the time or flight. So that's what I got for now, ladies, and thanks for joining me.